Our goal is to create a form on the left side of the map where users can provide their trip's origin and destination. We'll then display all the trip details on the map itself, and to achieve this, we'll be utilizing the Google Maps Places and Directions API. So, let's proceed by creating a new file in the request components folder, which we'll name tripform.js. Let's quickly create this component using RFC. Let me go ahead and close some of these tabs. Now, in the parent page, we'll import this new component. We want to position this new component on the left side with the map on the right. To achieve this, we'll use a parent div with the flex property. Inside this div, we'll create two more divs. The first div will have a width of, let's say, 1/5, while the other div will take up the remaining 4/5. We'll place the request form component in the first div and the map component in the second div. Let's check the browser to see the result. Great, it's looking good. Alright, now let's open the request form.js component and work on it. Actually, instead of trip form, let's call this component request form. Inside this component, we want to create a simple form with two fields, origin and destination, along with a submit button. We'll keep this form straightforward, so we'll create a form element. Inside of which we'll include two input fields and a submit button. Let's style this form with flex call and add placeholders to the input fields. One will say your origin and the other your destination. Great, here's what we have so far. We can add a top margin of 5, mt5, to the form, and left and right margins of 2, mx2. Let's style these inputs. They can have a black background, bg black, top and bottom margins of 2, mi2, a height of 10, h10, and a rounded shape with rounded xl. To make the text white and bold, we can add text white and font bold. Lastly, give them padding all around of 2, p2. This should give us the desired styling. But let's take a look at the browser. Alright, this is looking pretty good, I think. Let's style the button now. We can give it a blue background, BG Blue 600, white text with font bold, and add top and bottom margins of 2. Set padding left and right to 10 and padding top and bottom to 2. Apply some border radius with rounded 2xl. To center the button, wrap it in a div and use flex with justify center and items center. This will ensure the button is centered. It's looking good. Alright, so what's next? What we're trying to do is provide users with suggestions as they start typing their origin. These suggestions will appear in a drop-down list. We'll achieve this with the Google Maps Places API and an npm package called Use Places Autocomplete. Let's find it by searching npm use places autocomplete. Here it is. Here is a live demo that illustrates how this package works. As you start typing, you'll see a list of suggestions to choose from. I encourage you to read through this page to gain a better understanding of how this package functions. Let's proceed with the installation. You can simply copy the installation command and paste it into your command prompt window. However, please note that it requires another npm package called React Cool on click outside. Let's search for that package as well. Great, here it is. You can copy the installation command for React Cool on click outside and paste it into your command prompt. After that, restart your development server. Alright, let's go back to this use places autocomplete. To make our life easy, we are going to create a new component. Create a new component within the request components folder and name it place search origin. Now let's go to the example, copy everything in there, and paste it into this new file. Let's discuss what this code does. It imports several functions from the library. Use places, autocomplete, get geocode, and get latitude longitude. Additionally, it uses use on click outside to handle clicks outside of the component. Let's rename the component to place search origin for clarity. Within the component, it initializes various variables and functions using the use places autocomplete hook. The code initializes several variables and functions to enable the autocomplete functionality. Ready is a Boolean variable that signifies whether the autocomplete service is prepared for use. Value represents the current content within the input field where users type their location. Suggestions is an object containing valuable data related to autocomplete suggestions, encompassing attributes like status and data that help in managing the suggestions. setValue is a function that serves to update the input field's content based on user interactions. On the other hand, clearSuggestions is a function designed to clear any displayed autocomplete suggestions, ensuring a smooth user experience with the autocomplete feature. Further down in the code, there's a ref associated with the div located beneath the input field. This ref serves the purpose of identifying clicks occurring outside of the component. When such clicks are detected, it triggers the clearSuggestions function, ensuring that any displayed autocomplete suggestions are promptly removed. Additionally, there's the handleInput function, which operates straightforwardly. This function is invoked whenever the value within the input field changes, and its primary role is to update the value attribute of the input field accordingly. Now let's discuss the handleSelect function. This function comes into play when a user selects a suggestion. Its primary tasks include setting the input value to the description of the chosen suggestion and clearing the list of suggestions. Additionally, it leverages the getGeocode and getLatLNG functions to fetch the latitude and longitude information for the selected location. Moving on, we have the renderSuggestions function. This function is responsible for iterating through the autocomplete suggestions stored in the data array and creating a list of lie elements for each suggestion. In essence, this function displays each suggestion with its primary text and secondary text. Lastly, within this return statement, you'll find an input field whose value is managed by the state. Additionally, there's a drop-down list of suggestions, the visibility of which depends on the status being OK. These suggestions are dynamically generated using the renderSuggestions function. Now, let's customize this further. Since we won't be using a callback, we can remove it. For the request options, we have the option to limit the search to a specific country. To achieve this, we can include component restrictions as an object with country as a property and the corresponding country code GB for Great Britain. In the upcoming lectures, I'll demonstrate how to apply these restrictions to a city or a more precise geographic area. Now it's time to fire up the browser and witness the magic in action. But hold on, we haven't actually utilized this component yet. Let's import it into the request form. At the top, add import place search origin. Alright, let's go ahead and place this component right under the opening form tag. Oh, we forgot to make the place search origin a client component. Good. Let's take a look at the browser. This can be a bit confusing with two input fields, right? Let's simplify things by removing the input in the request form. But before we do that, let's make sure to copy the class name and placeholder. Now paste these into the place search origin component. Put it inside this input field within the div. Now, let's check out the browser. Everything looks great, but there's one problem. We can't type anything in this input field. The reason is that we haven't enabled the Places API yet. Stay tuned for our next lesson where we'll tackle that.